this year, and we spent quite a time together traveling the country and,
we did.
Volunteering and creating a difference in the social structure of the country.
Yeah, we did. We changed hearts and minds. That's what we did.
So will you please elaborate on that?
Cool. Yeah. Thanks so much, Kenny, for having me here. You know what? You and I go far, way back as in like February 2018.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Back in those days. Representing, being part of here and our friendship through Apathy is Boring.
Apathy is Boring is the best, coolest youth-led organization I have ever seen.
Probably because they let us do whatever we wanted. Let us all do all their shit.
Well, that's what needs to happen.
That's what happened. And so Kenny and I were like masterminds. We thought of this really cool project called Judge Me YEG.
So wait, let's back up for them.
Okay.
So we're plugging right now. We're plugging this nonprofit. It's a nationwide nonprofit. We're doing a little bit. We're featuring it a little bit, and we're also going to talk a little bit about our individual communities and how we engage them in Apathy is Boring.
Yeah.
So explain what Apathy is Boring is from a broad perspective.
From a really broad perspective?
Yeah.
And so essentially, Apathy is Boring wants to help you, it just is that vehicle that helps youth really take control of their environment and the living conditions they're in. And
youth being 18 to 30.
Right. So like not under.
Yeah.
But 18 to 30. And so just being
the future.
Like citizens of democracy. And so just being democratic, engaged citizens.
Yeah, because like what's the point of having a democratic government if half of us don't give a shit?
I mean, that's what democracy is. It's all about engaging in your environment and your conditions to make it better for life.
Have you always voted?
I have always voted. I've exercised my right.
Yeah, I've never voted yet.
You've never voted, even
Will you take me on a date to go vote?
Yeah, let's go. Okay. Let's do it, Kenny.
Okay, we can have a friend date and vote.
Well, yeah, we can have a friend date. We can talk about how we're friends.
we could talk about all the fucked up shit that we do behind closed doors.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
That we don't show each other. Yet.
Oh man. No, it was really bad. Sometimes Kenny and I would flirt after these boring meetings. And Jamie, our coordinator, would roll her eyes at us.
Well, it had to be fun, right?
Right. So it's fun. It's
casual.
Casual fun, right?
Yeah.
Because Kenny knows how I like my coffee.
Yeah, the same way. The same way she likes her men.
Right. I don't like coffee.
So if anybody got that, Lisa is a beautiful, blooming member of the LGBTQ community. I will not put a direct label on her. I will let her do that herself.
Thanks, Kenny. You know what? I really appreciate Apathy is Boring because it brought me closer to so many great people like yourself. And you were there. You were there when I came out to this group.
When your flower blossomed.
when my flower blossomed, maybe my cherry popped with like me coming out.
So sexual.
We're getting into it, aren't we?
Yeah, but you just at that point in time, that was the first time you ever admitted to anybody outside your own headspace that you liked.
I didn't even admit it to myself. Everyone, I don't know if this makes sense, but everyone else in the community knew before I did. Everyone else, like my sisters, my family, even my friends, had this like inkling that I was like not like, it's like the only straight thing about me is my hair.
Oh, that's funny because you're Asian and your hair is really straight.
Thank you. Yeah.
So tell the listeners and me, I want to know more about your past.
Right.
Your childhood. How are you different?
How am I different?
How were you different growing up?
How was I different growing up? Well, lots of... Okay, so I grew up in Calgary on the mean, rough streets of Victoria Stampede. That is a really sketch area. Just telling you. Yeah, everyone's going to the Calgary Stampede, going to Victoria Stampede train stations or Earlton, but around the area, like past the, what goes behind the festival is that you don't hear is that it's just a really rough area.
Okay.
And I used to go to Catholic school, and man, Catholic school really screwed the fuck up. It really screwed me up.
How?
I don't think it's a really healthy environment. They put in a lot of fear in you. They tell you can't do these things. And so a lot of my friends, we lit each other on fire. We would buy pot really early. I know.
You lit each other on fire.
Yeah, for fun.
Oh, like a lot of fire, or just a hand?
No, we just light up lighters and just throw them at each other for pranks.
Okay, yeah, I did shit like that too.
Yeah, and so somewhat wild shit like that, because it's sort of like an oppressive sort of environment you're in when you're told that you cannot have sex, that sex is bad for you, that you need to listen to this person because they're so great.
Yeah, what makes them so great?
You know what? I don't know. I don't even know till now, because, I was a kid. I actually really enjoyed going to church. It was a good social time. When I was in grade 3, I actually wanted to be like an altar boy or girl, whatever that is. And I just wanted to hold a candle and walk around. Yeah. What is that? Is that it?
Them?
Alter them. Yeah. An altar girl or non-binary, gender neutral altar person.
Yeah. That's so politically correct of you. I love that.
I would like to be inclusive of more people now. And you know what? That environment made me really judgy. Judgments happen. I was the girl next door. I didn't really enjoy, if you told me that you did marijuana or drugs, or you did any crime, or you had any views that were different from mine, I would just shut you out. I would be like, no, we're not friends. I'm not going to associate with you at all.
Because of dogmatic belief systems that were impressed on you from a young age.
Absolutely. They're trying to mold you into this specific person,
not your authentic self.
No. And so this is me getting back to my story about me struggling with coming out and LGBT. Yeah, right? My identity.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get far enough. I moved out of Catholic school into public school in grade 4. But it still stuck with me. My friends, my family, they expected a lot out of me. I mean, you even identify I'm Asian. Not that I'm saying that all Asians are like that, but with my family, I was really expected to be an engineer. I was expected to be top of my class, straight A's.
I still expect that of you.
Oh, thanks, Ken. Yeah, and you know what? I still perform.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, and so that happened. So I think I probably came out to my friends a lot during that time, but I retracted back because people didn't understand it during that time.
Yeah, so just a random ass slap or a compliment to a girl that just borderline was too far.
Oh man, yeah. No, I gotta tell you, throughout high school and junior high, I would be super guilty. Till 2 a.m. I'd be watching videos, and I would keep it a secret because I was so full of shame and guilt. This year, meeting everyone from Apathy, it's boring. I lifted a lot of shame and guilt this year.
Oh, that's so important. That is so important for the rest of your life, for your enlightenment,
right?
For the health of your soul.
You find your authentic piece of self. And what really helped me, I'm going to describe that moment of that room. Now I'm going to jump all the way now to February 2018, because it's such an important moment. You were there beside me, and Felisa was there too. But then, and then it was not just a couple, one thing, but a couple of things that finally made this event break the straw. And
the straw that broke the
camel's back.
The straight camel.
The straight camel, right.
Fuck that straight camel up.
Yeah, and now I don't have just one hump, I have two. But what happened was that, one of our members, they had said this really important comment. They had said that I wish I was there for my younger self. Who I am now is stronger.
Oh.
Such a good comment.
It just hits me in my gut.
And, during this week, I had worked at the Science Center before, and one of them was getting married, and they had these engagement photos and weddings. And when you see a picture, when I saw those videos of like them being so happy together, they're like a lesbian group, I was just like, you know what? That's where I want to be. That's who I want to like marry one day.
You felt energetically drawn, like you identified with that.
Exactly. I identified with it. And so in that moment, in that room where we were having that meeting, someone was talking about how we were talking about the privilege circle, the wheel, and we were talking about how all these structures, these different structures about like how racism happened. And we can talk about like heteronormativity, and we were talking about ageism, and we were talking about disabilities, and how this like we all have these intersecting identities. But what really it is that the structure, the society tells you, fuck you. You have to be the certain way. We're going to privilege white, male, Christian, able-bodied individuals. And if you're fucking anyone else out there, then screw you.
Yeah. What was it called? What was it called? It wasn't called the Wheel of...
Privilege?
It wasn't the Wheel of Privilege.
Oppression?
There you go. The
Wheel of Oppression.
Yeah.
That what it was.
I don't know the doctor who came up with that, but it was a doctor, right?
Was it a doctor? I don't think so.
I think it was a doctor.
I don't know.
Google the Wheel of Oppression.
Yeah. And it you know what? That was like one of the most defining moments in my life, because you know what? I started to cry, you know, and then Kenny was right beside me, and I felt free. I don't know how to explain, but I hugged Kenny, and I hugged the person beside me as well.
Listen, everybody, she like stopped everybody from talking, and she's like, I have something to say. And then she said, she's like, I've never said this before to anybody. This is the first time ever. I've never even told my mom or my dad I'm gay.
Right.
And then I don't know why. Like, I'm an emotional guy, okay? Like, I'm an emotional individual. I feel people's emotions. I teared up immediately. Tears are streaming down my face. Like, I was the biggest bitch in the room. And I just had to stand up and give her a big hug.
Right.
Because, like, I was proud of her for being vulnerable. And it brought the whole group. Like, so we had, there was 8 of us in the Edmonton cohort.
Right.
It brought us together like siblings.
Yeah.
That was the pinnacle. That was the tipping point of us creating projects together and like working as a team and committing to each other, and all of our vulnerabilities just opened up after that. It was such a great moment. Release the floodgates.
The floodgates
of teamwork.
It did, yeah, because you know what happened after was that this was like a couple hours before we all flew out to Montreal to do our retreat. Yeah,
the night before.
Right, just like a couple like 5 hours before, I think, like a couple hours.
Yeah, and so tell me and listeners, how was your experience the first trip out to Montreal? What did we do? What was the process?
It was so neat. They like put us in a shack, like a chalet. They called it a fancy chalet, but we were like in the middle of nowhere. They drove us out of Montreal like 2 hours after.
It was a pretty big shack. It was fucking 30 rooms or something.
It was really nice.
With a huge dining room, and it's an old like ski lodge.
Yeah,
on the side of a mountain in Montreal.
Yeah, and gorgeous. It was a really good time just to get some programming. So we learned about voting. We learned about, what else did we learn about? How to get our projects together. So we actually made 3 projects. It was such a crazy process because it was so frustrating because we all wanted to have we had all different ideas of social inclusion, but we had to like really filter and funnel it down to 3 projects.
Yeah, so like the theme of the projects that we had to create was based around social exclusion. What is it? How is it a problem? And what can we create in our community cohorts to start raising the right questions, to start raising concern about it, and maybe start making a difference about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was so great. And then we ended up with our 3 projects, but we really knew we wanted to do something with social media, and we wanted to film it. We wanted to make it like a viral video of some sort.
What was your best memory from that trip?
You know what? It wasn't like any of the program that we did. I mean, that was really fun. That was really great. But it was really just like the downtime. There was one point where we all, like, there was like, I don't know, 10 of us in a table, and we were talking until 2 a.m. in the morning. We were talking about, someone was talking about body positivity. We were talking about sex. We were talking about consent. We were talking about shit. And you know who it is that we're talking about.
I always bring up shit. If I'm sitting down at a table and it's getting dirty, I'm talking about poop.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Or the butthole.
Oh, Oh, that's even better. But other people were telling me their coming out stories, and everyone was telling me about like how they felt confused and how they were talking about to their parents about it, and how their parents would either react really poorly and they won't acknowledge it, or they'll get some support. And so I cannot tell you how important it is to get self-validation.
Ooh.
Yeah, because what?
Define that. What does that mean?
Okay, so you know what?
In your words.
I'm in a place where I don't give a fuck, but I give a fuck. I don't know if that know what you mean, but like I do care what people think about me. I definitely do, but a select amount of people. And the people who accept me for who I am, being like bi-romantic, asexual, that's sort of like where I lie right now, are the people you want in your life. Because I was so scared. I was so scared that once I would tell people that I was like gay, that's what I actually refer to myself a little bit, gay son, is that people wouldn't touch me, people wouldn't talk to me, people would be like really hesitant to like even talk to me.
I think it's sexy.
Thanks, Kenny.
Like to be your authentic self, and like,
right,
it's beautiful.
It is. It's an authentic piece of self where I realized that like that was why I was crying so much about it. That's why I was feeling was that, now I'm able to like what happened just like a week ago was that I was watching Netflix. I was watching Black Mirror, and there was this one episode where there was like two girls, a lesbian. They were in the Sam Junipero episode where it's like the happiest episode, but they're like obviously queer.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Happiest episode.
And then my sister comes in, and usually I'm just like I like try to change the channel really fast, or I lie to her about what's happening on the screen because I'm so full of shame and guilt that I'm just like I'm not this. But then she comes in, and she's like sup, and I'm like hey, and she's like what do you are those two girls, are they lesbians? And I was like, I think about it, and I'm like yeah they are. And she walks away, and it's like nothing. She like eats her, like she has a cookie in hand and her like hot chocolate, and she like looks at me, looks at the screen, and then walks away. Like it's a normal interaction.
Well, it is. It's
yeah.
normal.
And it's so good to like just be able to talk to you about this, Kenny. Like this is crazy right now. This moment right now is so crazy.
How empowering is this?
It's so empowering. Like I can like fucking like flip the desk and like
just
go.
Think of anybody out there right now that's struggling with identity,
right?
That might get something from you.
Yeah, I mean, like with anyone, like right now listening and hearing this story, it doesn't have to be like coming out of the closet because I look so good. I didn't spend so much time in the closet that I don't look good coming out right now. But anything, you know what? The people who matter in your life will accept you, won't care about like how you fucking dress, how you fucking look. Because like if you're feeling yourself, if you feel authentic, you will attract more authenticness from other people. They want that. They want honesty.
100%. And like when you're not authentic and you're living from ego or persona, or you're being
absolutely
like you're disconnected from, in my perception, you're disconnected from source, and then you don't have the ability to create or to come up with like ideas to do something or to meet new people. Like it cuts you off.
It does. Yeah. It cuts you off in the fact that you like try to do things that aren't you. Yeah. And so I dated men for the longest time. I dated like 3 people called John. Like one after the other was just like John. And I was just like, what is happening with my life? And so people would be like, Lisa, are you okay? Like, why are you dating so many Johns in your life? And I'm just like, no. It's just like, I just like meet a lot of people called John. And they're like, right, Lisa, you should preface the fact that you say you date a lot of people named John, not just like Johns in general.
Yeah, that's a word for something else.
Right. Yeah. And I should never tell people I have bad dates with Johns either.
No.
No, that's
no, because then you're a hooker.
Yeah, that's not who I am at all.
Yeah. Well, we're not discrediting.
No, we're not discrediting anything, but that's just not who I am. No, now that we're talking about like self, that's not who I identify with.
Like I'd sell myself.
Okay.
For the right price.
Right. What's the price?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
So let's defer from this conversation.
Right.
So how is your self-esteem growing up as a kid?
You know what? It wasn't really great. I would like to tell you that like I'm this confident badass bitch coming in to this radio talk and trying to make you laugh. But I guess like even like a year ago, 2 years ago, it wasn't all that great. Because, I deeply depended on what people thought of me. And, I had like a sort of a fucked up childhood. So, like it leaves these scars on you, and you never and like this is why going back to my comment about like I didn't even think people would want to touch me anymore, like men, women, anyone, because I thought that like what I was doing was so shameful and guilty.
How would you say your self-esteem is now?
It's like a million times better. I walk into a room anywhere and I'm just like, I can interact. Like my Tinder stories, A+. Like I'm looking like I would date myself because my Tinder profile is like bomb.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I'm bomb.com, Kenny.
You're bomb.com?
I'm bomb.com.
Are you just plugging your Tinder on?
No.
You're gonna get tons of creeps hitting up.
Hey, boys, girls, I see you. But I'm just saying, you know what? I do like meeting people organically, but I think I'm more vulnerable in the sense I'm ready to be open. And I right now, I think I have one of the best friend circles I've ever had in my life. I think I have so many people that I call my friends that I can call for support and talk about anything and not be judged.
And that's from Apathy is Boring?
That is Apathy. Like, Apathy is Boring right now makes up my entire friends group right now. Like, we play Dungeons and Dragons together. We have our gaming group every week. A couple of us went to the Tickle Trunk.
So I socialize with all these people via social media and events.
Yeah.
I avoid the board game nights, though. That's just not my cup of tea.
That's fair. I
had to leave them when they were playing Uno. Venture out on my own.
Right.
How was your second trip to Montreal?
How was my second trip to Montreal?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
How is it different from the first one? What did you do the second time?
Well, I can tell you that I don't remember my second trip to Montreal, if that's the indication of how my first trip to Montreal really worked out. But no, it was so good because I got to see the same. You know what? In the first retreat, I loved everyone. I loved how open and vulnerable everyone was with just like real talk. I can't tell you enough about how realness is so important. And so we clamored. We like begged Apathy is Boring to have a second retreat because, we love these people so much that we needed a second trip. And they were like, you know what? We'll find the money. We got the money. And they made it happen. They made it happen that we had a second time to go to Montreal and meet these awesome people. We stayed in a hostel and we just like walked around. And I got to meet the same awesome individuals that like really brightened my life, just enlightened it.
Yeah, so like there was a cohort of youth in Montreal, Ottawa, and in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Now the organization is growing.
Yeah, it is.
Now they have Toronto in there.
They do, Toronto.
I think the next round of cohorts, I think they're going to get Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver.
The next edition. And then the future editions are going to be like Halifax. We have Iqaluit.
The Nunavut one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do?
I'm
now?
pretty sure, yeah.
Next one.
Shout out to Ashley Cummings.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's that?
She's one of Trudeau's youth council.
Oh, cool. Neat.
Yeah, she's on the board for Apathy is Boring. So who knows where that will go in a couple of years, but at least she'll have a strong tie politically and be able to spearhead Apathy is Boring in a right direction.
That's so amazing. Wow.
Yeah, she's such a cool individual too. So I haven't even got a chance to really explain to you what we did when we were in Toronto.
Right.
So Apathy is Boring being part of the Canada Service Corps, there was a dozen nonprofit organizations there. Mm-hmm. And I got to meet different leaders in each of these organizations that were there to represent and tell their story about it and their vision and their intentions of where these smaller nonprofits are going. And as collectively, we all sat down, we mixed up and we brainstormed ideas.
Oh, that's so cool.
To make a movement of service of youth that are dedicated to service to change the
You're
system.
part of that. Oh man,
we are a part of that.
We're okay.
And anybody,
okay. I felt some FOMO
and any young Canadian can be part of this as well.
Okay,
Google Canada Service Corps youth programs. Google taking IT global. There's lots of these nonprofits that are engaging youth in their communities to come up with programs that are solving social issues and structures. Here's a question. what if there was like events? Like, was there any events when you were in junior high? Was there any things for LGBTQ community?
I wish there was.
Yeah, me either. Like, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Yeah, I'm 31, and it was unheard of to have any support group.
There wasn't really, you know, I just discovered drag queens like last year too. And I really wish if like someone had come from these communities and said, you know what, it's really cool. Like read me a bedtime story or something, you know. That's what they're doing now in some of the libraries in the United States. Have drag queens reading like children's books to people, and I was like, oh god damn it, why didn't I have that?
Oh, that's interesting.
It would have introduced me to like gender fluidity, because you know what, I really enjoyed having like wearing ties, and then people were just like, you're fucking gay, and then I was like, gosh, I'm not gay, stop it, just because I like to wear ties. And now I know that's not the case.
What does a tie represent for you?
You know what? Power. I look like a fucking bitch. Cool. Look like a motherfucking vamp.
I like that. That's good. Are you part of any LGBT community groups right now?
Yeah, you know what? Can I tell you a really funny story that's happened right now? So everyone's asking me like, "What's your status, Lisa?" And I always hesitate, and they're like, "Ooh, what does that mean? What's your hesitation?" And so I'm in this League of Lesbians, and like shout out to Jamie, who is our project coordinator for Apathy is Boring. I love her so much because she introduced me to these groups, and it's always important to have that kind of ally who will like take you to these places. And then there's someone who like posted an application of some sort. They're like, accepting applications for my friend. You must be able to do this, and this person is like really like this. And I was like, shing. I was just like, this is like and then so I emailed them. I sent them my photos, and I sent them my bio, and then they're like, our plan is like, you know, to have you and your friends and me and this person like meet up together. And I'm like, wow, this is like the queer bachelor I signed up for. I never thought I'd be part of.
So is it actually called League of Lesbians?
Edmonton League of Lesbians, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really cool group. I haven't like really participated much in it, but like it seems like a really cool community where people are just asking people to go like bowling or other places. And so like, and I'm also part of ACE Edmonton. There's so many like cool social media groups you could be part of that you could just be like, hey, my name is whatever, and I'm just looking for new friends, and people will reply.
Yeah. Do you find the same vulnerability in those circles as you did when you were part of Apathy is Boring?
No, because I don't know these people so well. Like, you know, I'm a little jaded, right? And I'm not like, it's not that I don't trust people, but I'm really careful now of like who I accept in my friend circle, because I don't have time for fakeness. I don't have time for fake friends.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. So like my Apathy is Boring fam, including you, Kenny.
Yeah.
I always will feel like I can be 100% vulnerable with.
You're a lion.
Thanks, Kenny. You are too.
You're part of the pride, Lisa.
Yes. Speaking of which, the Pride Center as well. Jamie's now having the new cohort there, and that's a really great resource.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I haven't checked them out, but I hear they're a really great resource as well in Edmonton.
Have you continued contributing to Apathy? Or so do you know anything about the VOTE program?
Yeah, I'm volunteering with it right now.
Okay, so what is the VOTE program with Apathy?
And so the VOTE program is, you know, they're nonpartisan. So again, Apathy is Boring. It doesn't support any political party as an organization, but it does want to encourage people to go out and vote. And so that's their whole VOTE program. Is they come out to festivals and events, and they'll set up a booth, and they'll try to register you to vote, and they'll give you cool swag. There's like condoms and buttons and battery chargers to get people to come in.
They give away condoms?
They definitely do. Protect your future. For sure.
Wow.
Yeah. And so like, and lip chap and all those things that like really will attract people to the table. They have really cool swag, like huge like canvas bags and everything like that.
Cool. Oh, you know what? I want to give a shout out right now to a very special individual that I met at a random occurrence, and she's so cool.
Who's this person?
So this person, I walked into this little cafe in St. Albert, and it was the funkiest looking place. like all the ceilings and the walls and the chairs were all painted individually with images and pictures of art that somebody painted. Like everything was painted like drastically
that's so
and
neat.
bedazzled. And it was
Bedazzled.
like, it looked like I walked in like a Mad Hatter's wet dream at Mardi Gras.
What?
Right? Like it was just weird. There's faces all over the tables and the walls and the roof.
Yo.
And like everything was painted crazy. Like it's like, oh, there's Michael Jackson. Oh, there's Jesus on a cross.
Hey, that's pretty
It was
lit.
just like really like everything. And there was this individual sitting in a wheelchair, and she was speaking at the front of the room. Mm-hmm. And what she said, like, I felt a twang of like emotion. I was like, oh no, here it comes again, right? And I really connected to what she said. And this individual was Miss Wheelchair Canada.
Miss Wheelchair Canada.
Yeah.
I did not know.
Yeah, her name was Bean. Yeah.
Bean, Miss Wheelchair Canada.
Bean Gill. And she's a very beautiful girl. And we got to talk afterwards. And it was funny because we were talking about personal training. And her personal trainer, she's like, oh, my personal trainer just went to jail. I was like, oh, Mike M. And she's like, yeah. And it was the same Mike M that we bring on Judge Me YEG.
Right. We haven't even talked about that project yet.
Yeah. So it was crazy. I was like, yo, remember? I was like, did you see on his social media how he's pretty? Yeah. And she's like, yeah. I was like, that's the organization that we're with. And all
hey,
this. Yeah. So I connected with this chick. She's
nice.
So cool. So she's got a nonprofit. ReU Paralysis Recovery Center. Reconnect, Retrain, Redefine.
Oh, that's pretty neat. I like that.
Yeah. I think it's a nonprofit anyways.
If you check it out, you can find out.
I'll double check.
Take a risk, take a chance.
Super cool chick though. So cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, Kenny, but you know what? I really want to talk about our project too now.
Okay, what is Judge Me YEG? Where did it come from?
You know what? Okay, I'll talk about the first part, but the second part is all yours because I missed it because I wanted to see the ballet and I wasn't there for the vote.
Yeah, you fucking ditched on me.
Because I wanted to see the ballet.
I had to pitch this in front of 25.
You did well because honestly, we won. Thank you.
We won because I fucking listened to Start With Why, the audiobook, all day long before that. I was like fucking programmed.
Kenny carried the pitch. Kenny's like a real one. And so what happened was that I watched a lot of videos too, and we were thinking about social inclusion. If you ever seen like Soul Pancake or like those BuzzFeed social videos, there were so many like videos and about like talking about social inclusion, but like they're talking about strangers. There's this like one Soul Pancake sort of like segment where they talk about like they put these two strangers together and they ask like questions like, what's your favorite kind of music? And the other person guesses, just never not knowing you, but they're just like, Kenny, I think your favorite kind of music from just looking at you is like hip hop. I just think that. And then the person would correct you. Kenny would be like, nah fam, like hip hop's not my jam.
Yeah, so there'd just be like unconscious biases revealed in these flash judgments. Right.
And so I wanted to carry that over to like, and we called it Judge Me YEG, Judge Me If You Can.
Yeah.
And so like, and how did you pitch it, Kenny?
Well, I came across on the basis that, so we are programmed, whether we are aware of it or not, from our surroundings, through the media and from our parents, and we're given belief systems of the way other people perceive society, and we just adapt other people's belief systems, whether they're right or wrong, and we grow these biases, and we're not even all of that. We might be aware that we have some of them, but some of them we're not even aware that we categorize and compartmentalize and put restrictions on how much vulnerability we're going to give that demographic of people, because my dad doesn't like that demographic of people, so I'm not going to like that demographic of people.
Exactly.
Or my mom said that those people are something, and now I believe that those people are something.
Right.
So we all have these like underlying belief systems that are separating the sinew of society. They're keeping us from connecting. because anybody can connect with anybody because we're human. And that is what is important, is that I can connect with any individual on the street on the basis that they are human, regardless of their past, their story, their parents. You know, what's really important to me is, what are your intentions? You know,
Yeah.
Do you care for people and the planet?
Right. Like, are you kind?
Yeah. Essential harmlessness to oneself and others.
It's a good thing to look for. And so, yeah, like this project, like,
and if you
blossomed.
don't, and if you're not, harmlessness to oneself, and all the power to you. I won't contribute in it, and I don't want no part of it. And our energies just don't vibe. They don't click that well.
Right.
But I wish you all the best in your endeavors. And I'm just going to go surround myself with people that are going to perpetuate my good vibes, perpetuate my good ideas. And so with this project, we wanted to come up with something raw that we can deliver to the public that is going to enlighten them, that they may have some unconscious biases that they're not aware of, that they can then do a self-inventory, assess and correct. They can realize, well, I have certain shitty relationships because of this unconscious bias that I just found out, because now I'm thinking about it and now I'm putting attention towards it. So I can come up with answers and solutions myself to become more of a whole holistic person, an understanding person. And so that was like my pitch. My pitch was the why. Right? Like, there is a flaw in society that we fucking judge each other.
Yeah, we do.
We're judgy cunts. And but it's really not necessary. Like put your ego aside. We're all the same. We all came out of the womb the same way. We're all survive. We all shit every day. We take dumps.
Right.
You know, we're humans. And if we can level ourselves down to the same playing field as every other group or minority, like if we're all in the same playing field, then there's no minorities.
Right.
You know, then we are united, then we are powerful. How do we get to that united part, right? So that was my pitch to these young, potentially powerful in the future youth.
So pretty much like socially inclusive.
Socially inclusive.
That was our pitch. That you can have all these differences. You can be whatever you are, bring whatever you want to the table, and be socially inclusive to each other. Just accept each other, be kind to each other.
So tell them about the project.
The project itself. And so we had 22 weeks to like make this film happen. And so what happened was that we found participants who didn't know each other, and it was almost like a Cards Against Humanity. We found all these questions that would like
stir the pot,
would really like shake some shit up. And so it was like, what do you think my sexuality is? What do you think my views on immigration are? What do you think I like about myself? What do you like, things like this? And so what we did was that we put these people in a studio, we filmed them, and people would get to choose what questions they want to do, like what is my sexuality, what they want to talk about, what mental or health issues you think I've faced in my life. And these other 4 participants would then guess, just based on their first judgment, what they were thinking, what they had said for this answer, for this question. And, you know, some things were really crazy because, like, you know, a lot of people don't think they're they're shitty at all. Like a lot of these conscious biases, a lot of people are like, I'm not a shitty person. Not saying that you are a shitty person, but there was this one instance where someone was wearing a hijab, and her question was, what do you think I like about myself the most? And then a lot of people were just like, I think you really like your religion. I think you are very spiritual. Yeah. I think you're very connected. And
yeah, I think you really care about morals and ethics.
Yeah, and
because
so
she's wearing a hijab,
right? And so people couldn't get past her appearance. And so I wouldn't say like that those individuals thought they were like shitty or racist or anything like that, but that it was that unconscious bias that said that you were staring at this person, you couldn't see past that like hijab, that like who she was on the outside appearance. Because then she like looked at everyone. She's saying, you know what, I do care about my religion, I do care about my spirituality, but you know, things that I would like about myself is something, maybe an accomplishment, something about my personality. But I would never look at Kenny and be like, hey, Christian boy, you probably like the fact that you're very spiritual and religious to Christianity.
Whoa, I'm not even fucking Christian around
there
here.
You go. And so where am I going assuming these things?
Yeah, don't put me into that box because I'm light-skinned.
Yeah, exactly. And so we shouldn't put anyone in any box. And that was like, like what I was struggling with for so long, because people really enjoy putting each other in boxes.
Oh, we're not supposed to go in boxes.
Where are we supposed to go, Kenny?
In holes.
Ooh, you went there. Oh, Kenny.
I know. I can't help it.
I know. But you know what? And then we had a filming. We had a really like snazzy, swanky filming at the Citadel Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we invited our friends and family and the public to see what we had filmed of Judge Me YAG. And I had so much good times just like coordinating and like making this project happen. You
were the facilitator.
I was.
Of this event. Mm-hmm. And we had all walks of life take part in it. And there were some connections made there because they got vulnerable.
They did. They got vulnerable really fast.
I fucking love vulnerability.
It's good for the soul.
I had a talk today. So my personal training facilitator, like the instructor, he gave me a serious compliment today. He's like, honestly, I've seen you connect with everybody in the classroom and everybody that you've come in contact with better than I've ever seen anybody connect before.
Awesome.
I was like, sick. He's like, you can be the shittiest personal trainer in the world and you'll still do good because you can connect with people. I was like, wow, that just gave me so much security. Mm-hmm. And a couple of the guys afterwards, they're like, Kenny, we heard what he said. How do we connect with people? And I said, just meet them at a humble spot just below where they are. Like, if you go to them and just be a little bit more humble, then you can perceive where they're at in regards to like confidence. Right. And just be a little bit more humble than their confidence. And then you can play like a game of corresponding and collaborating and building relationship and rapport. But just come into it more humble. Right. That's what I like to do.
That's totally fair. You know what? In Apathy is Boring, when I first met everyone, I was actually so scared. And there was this one person who we talked, like I didn't want to sit near her on the airplane at all because I judged her so hard. I was just like, you are standoffish. You're so reserved. I don't know why I talk to you. And I don't think we had anything in common. And you know what? She's my closest friend now.
Marianne?
No, it's not Marianne. Well, Marianne, yeah. Charlene, I was talking about.
Oh, Charlene, yeah.
Yeah, Charlene. Yeah,
she looked like a cold bitch.
That's what she likes to call you out on every day. And you know what? I did not want you like to be honest.
She's probably gonna be mad. I'm gonna give her a shout out right now.
But you know what, Charlene?
What is it? Campo. That's
no, stop it! Don't do that.
Campo. Hey, Charlene.
Kenny, Charlene might not want that to happen.
I know. Ooh. She can hate mail me later.
Oh my gosh! But you know what, Charlene and Marianne were definitely like two of like the greatest people in my life right now because they have helped me like through so much shame and guilt through just being there, not judging. Like could honestly tell them something and they would come back at me with compassion. I think that's the number one thing about also connecting with people is coming out at them with compassion. And when I saw that Charlene and Marianne, it was the retreat. When you stick people in a shack and force people to talk, sometimes it could be a good thing.
It's always a good thing unless they're headed off to the execution chamber.
Yeah, that's definitely different. We didn't go there. But yeah, no, these people in my life, like I'm so grateful. And I think that's part of it as well. Going through life, being grateful, being compassionate. And, Kenny, I didn't think that, in any other place we'd ever meet or get along with each other, really.
Well, I wouldn't say that we wouldn't get along with each other if we had a random meeting.
Yeah, maybe.
We're still the same people.
We are the same people,
but right? You would judge the shit out of me.
Different circumstances. Like you might be the first friend of that sort.
Of what sort? What label? Give me a label.
Give it a label.
Yeah, give me a label.
Let's think about it. The booty slapping, ex-con.
Wow.
It's hypersexual.
Whoa.
Kind.
Thanks for throwing kind in there.
I'm sorry.
As the trailer.
Kind.
What else? Come on.
Very kind. You know, Kenny. You know what? Like, honestly, I would like if I saw you on the street, I'd be a little scared of you.
Because I have tattoos.
You know what? Because you have this like swagger with you where you're just like don't fuck with me. And you know what? As like going through life a lot of times where like you have this hard rugged exterior, it scares me a little bit. But but then these unconscious biases would never let me know the Kenny who is kind and funny and super passionate about your dreams and like connecting with people.
Yeah, and like my biggest thing that I want to boast about myself is I love to help people grow and like accomplish their dreams. And if they say that, oh, I just want to be like this or I want to stop doing this, it's like, okay, let's do it. Let's figure out how. Speaking of which,
right,
I want to quit smoking. So I'm going to quit smoking.
Okay.
I started smoking just in Montreal. Just
Did
because
you?
I felt like being an idiot, and
Kenny.
I felt like revisiting an old friend for a while. So last night I came up with a list of pros and cons to smoking. Mm-hmm. So the cons of smoking: I have to hide it from my kids. Mm-hmm. I wheeze at night. I smell. It hurts me. It discredits my professionality. It lowers my self-efficacy. It gives me the wrong impression to those who I am a role model to. It costs way too much. It enslaves me. It gives my subconscious mind a belief. It gives my subconscious mind and beliefs a sign that I'm not worth it. Mm. I look bad in front of clients. It poisons my soul. It causes me to doubt myself. It gives me wrinkles. It makes my teeth yellow. It negatively affects my cardio. It limits my ability to lift heavy. It limits my ability to play sports with my daughters. It teaches my kids not to love themselves. It takes away what's good. It disconnects me from God. The time spent smoking could be used loving myself with my actions, not to mention the inevitable limp dick it will cause.
Limp dick. Smoking actually causes you to have a limp dick. Wow.
Well, it fucks with your circulation, right?
Right, okay.
Right, and you need circulation for that guy.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Or that them.
That them?
Whatever your preference is.
How do you talk to your dick?
We're gonna different show.
Different show?
Yeah, different show. Yeah.
Oh man.
That's a show for you and like some of your LGBTQ community.
Well, it's not a show that I would personally really tune into.
Hey mom, listen to my new episode.
It's not one. I'd rather talk about something else that involves a lot more tongue.
Oh. Yeah, I knew that you were a lesbian that time you did that tongue thing.
What tongue thing?
Like,
oh yeah. It's a short giveaway. I like to do that.
You're the best.
Thanks.
So, that really flew by.
Yeah, it was such a good conversation.
I'd love to have you back one day. Yeah. And like, there's so much more that we can go into.
So much more.
You know, are you left or right?
Left or right? What? Like
political
of the devil?
You could use that too. Yeah. We'll save it.
Okay, yeah. Let's creep. You want like I'm right-handed. If that's also what you want to know.
Okay.
And if you can go left, I would go right.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure having you on, and
Thank
you're
you.
a very dear friend of mine. And I hope the
thanks,
listeners. Kenny. I hope the listeners enjoyed meeting you.
Yeah, I hope everyone out there. I see you, boys and girls. Hit me up.
I want to give a shout out to our lawyer, Liam Connolly at Connolly Law. If you have any questions about will, social media, I think that there's more. Liam Connolly Law, Liam Connolly Law. Sorry, Liam. Thanks, everybody. That was a great episode. I love you guys. Check us out, www.lifeonlifestermspodcast.com. All our episodes are on there. You'll be able to see our content, our blogs. You can communicate with us directly. We respond back to feedback. I'm on there right now. I haven't posted my picture yet. It's going on there tonight. My picture and my blog is going on tonight onto the website. Connect with us, guys, and girls, and they and them.
They and them, non-binary, everyone.
Non-binary. You're all part of the pride.
All of it.
If you hear and you're listening to this, then you care about yourself and you want to hear stories about other people so you can relate to them.
Right.
To help yourself or other people, or just to learn, or just to connect, because you're human. Mm-hmm. And you're good.
Yeah. It's happy 2018. I'm here.
Have a good day, y'all.